You know that feeling? When your heart is beating so hard you can feel it in your throat? When the air in the room gets thick, and everyone's eyes are on you, and you just freeze. Yeah. Me too. My name is Alex. And that feeling? That was my life. For a very, very long time. Let me take you back. It was a Tuesday. 10:17 a.m. I was in the big glass conference room. The one with the view that made you feel important. I was important. Or I thought I was. I was a project manager. I'd spent all night perfecting my presentation. The numbers were solid. The strategy was brilliant. This was my moment. My boss, Mr. Evans, nodded at me. Alex, the floor is yours. Walk us through it. I stood up. I opened my mouth. And nothing. The perfect English sentences I'd rehearsed in my shower, in my car, they vanished. Poof. Gone. What came out was a mess. Stumbling. Stuttering. I said projective instead of projection. I mixed up strategy and strategic. My accent, which I usually could hide, came out thick and heavy. I saw it. Don't tell me you haven't seen it too. That flicker in their eyes. First, confusion. Then patience. And finally, pity. They stopped listening to what I was saying and started listening to how I was saying it. And how I was saying it was wrong. The meeting ended. At 4:30 p.m., I was called into Mr. Evans's office. He didn't even let me sit down. Alex, we're making some changes. The role requires sharper communication skills. We have to let you go. Sharper communication skills. Let me translate that for you. It means, your English isn't good enough. You don't belong here. I drove home that day in a complete silence. The kind of silence that's louder than any noise. The shame was a physical weight on my chest. I couldn't breathe. For 2 weeks I was a ghost. I didn't answer calls from my family back home. How could I tell them? Hey Mom, the son you're so proud of? Yeah, he got fired because he sounds stupid. I felt like a fraud. An imposter who'd finally been exposed. The turning point was a video call from my niece, Sophia. She's 7. She lives in Canada. She was so excited, chattering away about her school play, her friends, a story about a rabbit. She was speaking a mile a minute in this beautiful, fluent, childish English. And I couldn't understand her. My own flesh and blood. I was just smiling and nodding, pretending, like I had in that boardroom. And in that moment, something in me broke. But not in a bad way. It broke open. A cold, hard rage filled me. Not at them. At me. For letting it get this far. For letting fear win. I looked at myself in the dark reflection of my laptop screen and I said out loud, no more. I had 3 months of severance pay. 3 months to rebuild myself from the ground up. I didn't need to learn English. I needed to own it. I want to talk to you directly now. Maybe you're where I was. Maybe you're stuck. Maybe you're terrified of speaking up in a meeting, or ordering coffee, or making a friend. I see you. I am you. This isn't about being perfect. It's about being powerful. And I'm going to show you how I did it, step by painful step. Phase 1, the foundation, Month 1, total immersion. I turned my apartment into an English bubble. Everything had a label. But not just table, or chair. That's for beginners. I wrote phrases. On the window. The sun is shining through the window. On the fridge. I am hungry. I need to eat food. On my mirror. You can do this. Keep going. I narrated my life like I was the star of a documentary. Alex is walking to the kitchen. He is opening the cabinet. He is feeling tired, but he must continue. It felt ridiculous. But it rewired my brain to think in English, not translate. I became a listener. Music? Gone. Radio? Only English news channels. I watched cartoons. Yes, cartoons. Because the language is simple, clear, and emotional. I'd watch the same 5-minute clip over and over until I could repeat every word with the same rhythm. I was teaching my ears to stop fighting the language. Phase 2, the battle, month 2, speaking and making mistakes. This was the hardest part. The part one know you're scared of. I was terrified. My hands would sweat at the thought of talking to someone. I started small. I called customer service lines for products I owned. "Hi, I have a question about my router." It was safe. They were paid to talk to me. Then, I found a language exchange app. I'll never forget my first conversation with Brenda, a retired librarian from Florida. I told her my story. I cried. Right there on the video call. And you know what she did? She cried with me. She said, "Alex, your courage is your language. The words will come." I made mistakes. Oh, did I make mistakes? I once told my language partner I was very pregnant with ideas, instead of full of ideas. We laughed for 10 minutes. And that laughter was medicine. It taught me that every mistake is just a step forward. People don't laugh at you, they laugh with you when you let them. Phase 3, the Polish, month 3, thinking in English. By the third month, I wasn't just learning English, I was living it. I started reading books I loved, but in English. I kept a journal, writing my thoughts and my fears in this new language. I'd record myself speaking and then listen back, not to criticize but to improve. The 3-month mark came. I applied for a job. A better job. The interview was the final boss level. I was nervous. But this time, it was different. When they asked, "Tell us about a challenge you overcame," I didn't give a perfect, rehearsed answer. I told them the truth. I said, "My biggest challenge was right here. In my voice. 3 months ago, I lost my job because I was afraid to speak. So I spent every minute since then learning not just to speak English, but to believe that my voice deserves to be heard. That challenge taught me more about resilience and dedication than any project ever could." I got the job. Not because my English was perfect. It wasn't. It still isn't. I got it because I showed up as my whole, real, messy self. And that is powerful. But here's the real talk. The journey didn't end there. A few months into the new job, I made a huge mistake in an email. I used the wrong word and it cost the company a small client. The old shame came rushing back. I thought, "See? You still aren't good enough." But I remembered what Brenda said. Courage is the language. I went to my new boss and I said, "I made a mistake. This is what happened. This is how I will fix it." And you know what? She respected me for it. She said, "Alex, we all make mistakes. Thank you for your honesty." That was the final lesson. Fluency isn't about never making a mistake. It's about having the courage to fix them. So where am I now? I'm here. Talking to you. I'm not some unrelatable success story on a magazine cover. I'm you, just a few months ahead on the path. I still have an accent. I still sometimes search for a word. But my voice doesn't shake anymore. Your journey will look different from mine. But the feeling at the end? The feeling of looking at yourself in the mirror and knowing you faced the thing that terrified you the most? That feeling is the same. And it is waiting for you. It starts with a decision. Your decision. No more. Your voice is a tool. A weapon. A gift. It is not your enemy. Unleash it. My name is Alex. And this is my story. Now, go write yours.